What happened that day and why IT matters on January 7, 2026. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents were operating in South Minneapolis as part of an ongoing federal immigration enforcement effort. During the operation, an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good while she was in her car. Federal authorities claim Goob attempted to use her SUV to hit an agent, labeling it a threat and even calling it an act of domestic terrorism. But videos taken by bystanders as well as body camera footage appear to contradict the official narrative, showing Good's interaction with agents moments before she tried to drive away. Too many Americans watching the footage online. The scene felt chaotic and unclear, and that uncertainty immediately became political ammunition for both sides of the debate. To immediate political reaction, a nation divided within hours. Politicians, media outlets, and activists were reacting and taking sides. Conservatives and the Trump administration quickly defended the ICE agent, calling the shooting justified, arguing that officers must make split-second decisions when their lives may be at risk. On the other side, many Democrats and civil liberties advocates labeled the killing an excessive and unjustified use of lethal force. Some even drew parallels to previous controversial shootings, arguing it reflected a broader pattern of unchecked law enforcement power. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, went further, accusing federal authorities of hiding facts and obstructing transparency. He and other state leaders want independent investigations and accountability. This split quickly became a political mirror, Republicans emphasizing law and order and support for federal agents, while Democrats demanded accountability and protections against militarized enforcement. 3 protests, public outcry, and why it's a big deal across the U.S. Cities filled with protesters after news of the shooting spread. In New York City, demonstrators chanted "Killer Christie," targeting the Department of Homeland Security leadership and expressing deep anger at ICE's role. Some activists and civil rights organizations openly compared this case to previous high-profile killings by law enforcement, arguing it embodies broader issues of police power, excessive force, and lack of accountability. The fact that such widespread protests erupted nationwide and not just in Minneapolis illustrates the emotional weight this event carries in public opinion. For a country already deeply divided over immigration and federal authority, this became another cultural touchstone for the legal and political implications. Why exactly? It's a game changer. Here's where this story moves from a tragic incident into a turning point in U.S. politics. Federal versus state power after the shooting. Federal authorities barred Minnesota investigators from accessing key evidence, sparking a major legal battle over jurisdiction. Minnesota officials say they want transparency and accountability. The federal government says Minnesota has no legal right to investigate a federal officer. Legal experts point out this conflict touches on the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution. Federal agents may be immune from state prosecution in some cases, but that immunity isn't blanket protection for all actions, which leaves serious legal questions unresolved. This tug-of-war between state accountability and federal power could shape future investigations of federal officers nationwide. Scrutiny of ICE's training and tactics. The shooting has also intensified questions about how ICE agents are trained, especially regarding deadly force and how to handle tense confrontations. Critics argue that police and immigration enforcement must do better at de-escalation and reducing lethal incidents. Immigration enforcement as a political football under the current administration. Immigration enforcement efforts, including large federal deployments of agents, have become politically charged. Opponents see these actions as heavy-handed and militarized, while supporters argue they protect national borders and public safety. The Minneapolis shooting has now become the symbol of this broader struggle. 5. What this means for the future of U.S. politics. So, what does this all mean for U.S. politics? It exposes deep distrust. Many Americans on both sides no longer trust narratives from the other side. Whether it's federal agencies, local politicians, or national leaders, people are interpreting the same event in completely different ways. It could affect upcoming elections, immigration, law enforcement, federal power, and civil liberties will likely feature prominently in debates and campaigns, and this incident will fuel those discussions. It may influence legislation. Calls for changing how federal agents use force, and demands for more transparency could push lawmakers to consider new laws or reforms. Whether Congress takes action will depend on political will, but the pressure is growing. It might reshape public opinion on immigration enforcement. For many people who had not previously engaged deeply with immigration policy, this shooting has put a human face and tragic consequence on the issue. Final thought, a moment, not an end. The fatal ICE shooting of Renee Good wasn't just a tragic event, it's become a catalyst. A catalyst for debate, protest, legal battles, and political polarization. Whether this leads to meaningful change or deeper division is up to the nation, its leaders, lawmakers, and everyday citizens. But one thing is clear, this moment will be remembered in America's political story, and its ripples are only just beginning.